All right, what's up, everybody? I just wanted to do a dear young black men, um, because of experience that I had. Not all young black men, but the young black men that are truly young black men. Let me tell you what my experience was. So I caught the bus home tonight, and the thing about riding the bus, when y'all know for almost the past week I've been catching the train, which I really enjoyed the experience, but sad to say my funds are kind of low. So I could have, I'll just say this, that my ability to afford the train was questionable. So I decided today to take the bus, and tomorrow I'll be able to take the train again. But this is my experience. So at first, this morning on the bus, I was like, hey, this is not really a bad experience. I kind of, sort of, in a way, enjoyed it. Now, but on the bus ride back on the third bus, I just felt kind of like I started getting into my thoughts, okay? That's the thing of the bus. You got too much time to think because it's not comfortable. You can sit and read and enjoy the scenery, but you got too much time to think. So I started thinking about, way back when the legal situation, I don't know, what year, 2017, like approximately 10 years ago. And I was thinking back about, like, boy, you know, people really did not care about me. Like, and I was so good and so whatever at that time. Here's my bus. I'm about to catch this bus and go home. But I don't know if I have time to finish this vlog, but that's what I started thinking about. That's where my mind took me. It took me back to being quartered to the homeless shelter, not even knowing that there was really a such thing as a homeless shelter. I thought it was a school. I never knew that was a shelter right around the corner from where I lived. And not looking for a job at all because I didn't know if I was going to jail. I didn't know what the situation was going to be. And I had already been quartered to a homeless shelter, so I couldn't really have a place to live anyway because they told me I had to go to a shelter. So just that whole experience, and then having people come into my life say they want to take me for friends, and just basically being taken advantage of. So it's just like all those thoughts came to mind, and I thought about how I've always stayed to myself and been a good girl, did the right thing, and then I was being told that, oh, you have to hook up for whatever. The judge was like, oh, you're young and you don't, date and all that. And I didn't. Nothing was around that I wanted to. And I bumped into this guy that was from my hometown in the military and was black and actually wore his pants around his waist. And I was just like, okay, it was this conversation, wasn't anything else. But then, he was like, oh, we should be friends. And I was like, no, a whole bunch of crazy stuff happened. Okay, and so then it ended up being where, I detached a vital part of me. It's like, this is a picture that I had in my mind. Like, you imagine like a hose that is the equivalent of a clear hose that's equivalent of like an umbilical cord that's going from whatever the source would be of you, that's like the portion where the umbilical cord would come from, and being reattached to another vital part of your body, like the same thing, and you're rejuvenating yourself because you're alone or you're to yourself. Then when somebody else comes and say, oh, you need a friend or whatever like that, then you intentionally think, okay, I'm gonna share. So you detach that cord from the supply that just sends it back to you, and you open it up for someone else attached to it. Then what happens is that, and you guys may not follow me, you got to be deep to follow this because I'm a deep person, but you detach it from yourself so that someone else can attach to it. And it's just like what they do is they teach you. You have the hose out for them to attach to, and it's a vital living organic hose, but they do not attach. They kind of linger around so that you're reaching out for it, and then eventually it atrophies, so you hurt yourself. And that was the situation that I had. And I thought to myself, like, wow, I was thinking about the times that I was sitting in that apartment that was about to um, that I was going to get evicted from because I didn't have no choice. I couldn't find, when I say I couldn't find a job, it didn't mean that I couldn't look for a job and find a job. It meant that I couldn't because I was going through the legal system. And because I was going through the legal system, what that meant is that, I was going to court so much I was not able to find a job. I wasn't able to take the time to look for a job because I didn't know when the court date was coming. In addition to that, I was being court ordered to a homeless shelter, so it was fruitless for me to get a job, then have to miss all these days to go to court, and then I'm not allowed to get in my own apartment. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like it debilitated me intentionally, and it's just like, and I thought about sitting in that empty place, waiting for this guy, to at least come and check on me to see how I'm doing. I'm going through a legal situation that was totally not my fault, and just, that could change my life forever. Didn't even check on me to see how I was doing, nothing. And I remember the maintenance man came by my apartment to do something. And I remember, I had been sitting in there for so long, just sitting, moping. And the maintenance man came by my apartment to do something. And I remember, my heart, and he could probably feel it, it jumped through my chest because I thought it was that guy. And, when it was just him, it broke my heart because he asked me, and it was in the newspaper or whatever, he asked me, how was I doing? And I almost broke down and cried on the spot because nobody had asked me that. Nobody cared. When I went to the homeless shelter, one of the things that one of the girls said, because they were starting to try to, play this role of jumping in on, all this kind of crazy stuff. And I remember it was just very ironic to me that this girl that, was just being nasty, her comment was, wow. And she was just in shock, just like the same thing that happened when I was, younger, and I was working at this place, and this guy that I grew up in the same neighborhood with and went to school with, he stopped in the middle of what he was doing, was like, wow, she's not going to make it. She's too nice. This girl, in the middle of her being rude and nasty, and now she wasn't being rude and nasty and mean, she was starting instigating trouble. In the middle of her doing all that, she stopped and was like, wow, don't nobody care about her. Like, it just floored her that, she could bully and do whatever else she want and nobody cared. It floored her. And the sad thing about that, the most ironic thing about that was the closest to anybody caring that I would get, was that a bully acknowledging that nobody cared. So it broke my heart when I think about these things, about, the fact that, what she said was true, and I couldn't even be mad at that. At that point, I thought, well, maybe it's true, but I couldn't even be mad about it because there was truth in it. You can't really be mad at the truth because it's true, And I knew that at that point, I knew that I wasn't stuck there, but I didn't know that I would be, I like to believe in today's day and age that there are people that care. I just don't know, And if anything else, if y'all see how my life goes, God definitely does, step in. I didn't tell you the story about the young man. I guess I have to tell you guys when I'm on my way home.